morning, everyone. My name is Karla, and you have reached my FlossTube channel, KarlaBeingCrafty, where I talk about mostly cross stitch, but also other crafts that I enjoy, and a little bit of life thrown in. Today is Sunday. It's January 15th, and it is my FlossTube number 175. It is kind of a rainy, gloomy day here in Southern California. It has been raining again. This past weekend. It was raining all day yesterday, and we're expecting some more rain tonight, and then it's supposed to be rainy tomorrow, and then sunshiny for the rest of the week, but temperatures around in the low 60s. So this is, I guess, our rainy season here. We have had a couple storms coming through. It's not that big a deal, at least for me where I live. I only feel like I'm really super affected by it if I have to drive and it's flooding. I don't mind driving in the rain. I don't mind being in the rain. Of course, I prefer to be inside, snuggled and stitching with my cat when it's raining, but I don't mind being out of it, except that I hate driving when it's flooding or when there's huge puddles. That just like stresses me out. Like I can't even imagine. Hopefully it won't be that bad tomorrow. I don't think it's supposed to be pouring tomorrow, just kind of regular showers. It was actually a warmer day on Thursday this week, up in the like low 70s. However, I didn't feel it. I had my second shingle shot on Wednesday after work, and I didn't have any kind of reaction last time I had it, which is, you know, interesting because I actually had 3 shots at one time. 2 months ago in November, when I got it, I got the shingles and the pneumococcal pneumonia and my flu shot all at once and had no reaction. But this week when I got my shingle shot, I'm assuming it was my shingle shot that caused this, but Thursday afternoon, I was sitting at work and I was freezing. And I mean, our office can get cold. We don't really have control over the air conditioning because we're in, you know, a building where we just don't have control over our individual unit. And, you know, it can get chilly or, you know, whatever, but, you know, I have a sweater and it's fine. But I was just freezing Thursday, and I kept thinking, like, why is it so cold in here? I mean, I was like shaking. I was so cold. I had my sweater on. I had, and then I started thinking about it. It's like, I think I might have a fever. So when I got home that afternoon, or that evening, I did take my temperature, and my temperature went up to almost 102. So yes, I definitely had a reaction. It came down with some ibuprofen, but I just wasn't feeling great. So I ended up staying home on Friday just to be able to sleep a little bit extra. When I woke up late, I felt pretty fine. It was just a reaction, I think, to the shot, but my body needed that extra rest. So yeah, so that's been my week. I almost didn't stitch on Thursday. You can tell I wasn't feeling well because when I got home from work, I did not feel like stitching at all. And it took until I kind of brought my fever down a little bit, and then I got up and I stitched a little bit. But yeah, I'm feeling fine now and ready to go back to work tomorrow. But I am. And yeah, so that's our weather report for Southern California. Just a reminder, and I don't know when this is going to go up. Last week it took forever to upload my video, and the week before it was super easy, so who knows. But if you do see this before 2 o'clock Pacific time, we are having a Zoom today. All of the particulars are in the description box, so you can get the numbers to log in and everything. And then I did schedule a Zoom for February, so let's do it this coming month on February 18th, which will be a Saturday, and I'm going to do it a little bit later in the afternoon, so it'll be evening into the later evening for people more on the East Coast. I'm going to do it start at 5:30 California time, and we'll have a nice evening stitch on Saturday. So that would be February 18th. So mark your calendars. All the information is below, and I would love to see you guys there. I think I don't really have a lot of preamble for you this week, so I do have a lot of stuff to show you though, so let's get into it. I have 2 new starts this week. One is my county canvas project, which you guys know who watch my channel, I'm kind of doing stitching by themes this year. Not that that doesn't mean that I can't stitch something that's outside of the theme in a given month. I can, I will. But I am kind of stitching by themes. And this would fit into February's theme. This is a Country Garden by From Nancy's Needles. And where did I put the info? Here. Okay, From Nancy's Country Garden by From Nancy's Needles. So this would fit into my floral theme for February. However, I don't really consider this a regular project because I do my count canvas when I'm on Zoom. So it's sort of my Zoom project just because it's easier for me to work on while I'm also trying to watch the computer because of the glasses. It's easier for me to stitch on this with my regular reading glasses as opposed to having to put higher magnification ones on. But I just got a small start on this just to get it going for the Zoom today so that I wouldn't be starting, you know, from scratch. So I did a short little demo video on kind of like the canvas and the structure bars and stuff like that and how to put together a counted canvas project, and that should be going up on Wednesday. But as I said, this is called Country Garden by From Nancy's Needles. I have made just a few changes in colors. The variegated floss that you see on here is called Ethiopia, and I didn't have that one, but I did have another variegated called Peach Melba, and I decided to use this instead. I think the difference, just from looking at the picture and then this, is the Ethiopia is more purple to orange kind of, and red and pink, and this has more of the yellow in it. So I still think it's going to be really pretty. I'm using the green that's called for, and I'm using the purple that's called for, which is Iris. I have the purple sparkly. I do not have the mango snow yet. I don't know if I'm going to try and get that, or if I'm just going to find something else that's kind of fuzzy sparkly to use. It's for the center of the flowers, so it's not like I have to have it in order to do the project. I still haven't decided on that. And then the background on this, it called for a DMC Pearl Cotton in Beaver Gray, which is sort of that greeny gray. And I don't know, I don't love that color. So I decided to change it to this sort of peachy pinky color, which I think is going to work. So it's going to give the piece probably a slightly different look than the picture. I am using, in case you guys recognize, I'm using these floss drops that I got from Jen Marsh during Hanukkah, and I really like them. So that was definitely a good gift of something that I didn't have and that I am happy to be able to try out. So anyway, as I was saying, because I'm changing a few of the colors, it might have a quite different look from the model picture, which is fine with me. I believe that Julie from Stitching at the Cabin is going to start this month as well. I showed it on my channel, and as you know, if you've been watching the channel, Julie and I have kind of become Counting Canvas buddies. I started Counting Canvas after seeing her do one on her channel, and we had kind of become, you know, YouTube friends, and we live close enough to each other that we can get together. So at one point during the pandemic, we kind of met and stood, you know, 6 feet apart from each other, and we exchanged patterns of the counting canvas that she had completed and the counting canvas that I had completed. And so we kind of now are like, oh, when she buys counting canvas, when she's done with them, I'll get them, and when I buy them and I'm done with them, she'll get them. So we trade. So anyway, I showed this one, and she's like, wait a minute, I have that one. So she pulled it out and started kitting it up, and I think she's going to start it this month as well. This canvas is kind of weird. It looks like camouflagey. This was a gift actually from Amy Sprinklestein Stitches, who, Amy, I hope you're doing okay. I haven't seen you on FlossTube. I see you occasionally on Instagram, but she hasn't done a FlossTube in a while. But Amy won some kind of big prize from her local needle workshop, gosh, like 2 or so years ago, and it had some rolls of canvas in it, and she had no idea what it was, and I said, oh, that's mono canvas. You use it for needlepoint or for counted canvas. And she's like, oh, well, I'm not gonna do that. So she sent it to me. So that's what this is. It doesn't really matter what color you use. I usually see if I can get some on sale, you know, if 123 Stitch has it on sale or whatever. And I was gonna use the ivory that I had, and then I went to go pull it out and I realized that it was just a remnant. It was rolled up and it looked like it was a whole roll, but it was just a little thin slice. So I did have a whole roll of this, and so that's what I'm doing it on. But because these are pretty much full coverage, it doesn't really matter what color you did on. It may show through a little bit, but since this is sort of a greeny brown tone, it's not going to change the overall look negatively. So that was that start. You can hear Baggy making an appearance here. Okay. The second new start I had, I'm excited about this one. I've been talking about it for a while. This is well, it's my full coverage, focus on full coverage month, right? This is the full coverage that I found on Unconventional cross stitch and couldn't get out of my head, so I went ahead and got it, even though it is not a quick stitch. This is a 650 by 460, no background, Let Sleeping Dragons Lie. And this is artwork by Amy Brown. And I saw this chart, and as I said, I could not get it out of my head. And you know what? It's like I got into a YOLO mood, and I went, what the heck? I'll just get it. I'll start it. If it takes me 10 years, it takes me 10 years. If it takes me 20 years, it takes me 20 years. I will enjoy stitching on it while I did. So basically, a haul that I didn't get to show you because I was waiting for it when I got it. I kitted up the project. I got a big bag of floss. This is what's left after I kitted up. So this all has to get put away. And I got a big piece of fabric. Well, let me show you my flosses first. I kit up my, well, pretty much everything, but you know, it shows up most on full coverage. I kit them up on these floss cards, and I do only use one side of the card. I have one project that I started very early that I use both sides of the card, and I hate using that one because it's such a pain. But when I use one side of the card like this, the flosses hang very nicely. I print like the pages that have the numbers and the symbols. I'll print them on sticker paper or on like labels, and then I cut them and I put them on here, and then I put clear labels over them to keep them protected. And that's how I do my flosses. And they stay really neat hanging like this. And then when I put them in the project bag, I just kind of like, I roll them up or I fold them over themselves into like a little bundle like this and stick it in the project bag, and they stay really nice. They don't get tangled. Yeah, they stay nice. So fabric. This, because it's big, requires a big piece of fabric, and you know, fabric can be expensive, especially if you want an over-dyed or, you know, something like that. And so I thought about it, and I'm like, you know, instead of buying an over-dyed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of white Lugana, because I wanted to stitch this on 28 count 10 stitch. That's kind of what I'm liking for full coverage right now. I like that it's small. I like that it's faster, well, faster because it's 10 stitch, although when it's small like that, it's not that fast, but, and yeah, so that's right now is my preference. So I decided to get a big piece of white and then dye it myself. And I thought about the colors because this is so predominantly like blue, purple, green. I thought it would look good to have kind of a yellow, pinky, orange, like sunset-y kind of look, or like either daybreak or sunset kind of thing behind it. I thought that would go really well. Well, contrast really well, but then look nice. So that's what I did. I decided to dye it myself, and I kind of wanted it pastel to a certain extent. So anyway, I got a yard of fabric at 123 Stitch. It was inexpensive because it was just a plain white Lugana, and I dyed it, and this is what I came up with. I think it turned out really pretty, and it is looking a little bit more blotchy than it is in real life. In real life, it looks a lot more blotchy on camera. In real life, it kind of all blends nicely. But I got a start on it, which is going to, I know, look like nothing. And this is hours worth of work. Hold on. Oh, there. My needle minders were kissing. Oops. Shoot. Oh, I hate it when they do that. Needle minders were kissing, and then one stole the other one's backing. Okay. These needle minders are both from Gina's Unique Boutique. I think it was actually the shop itself that sent me them as a gift for Hanukkah. Hold on. I'm trying to get to where I can just show you the stitching with this huge piece of fabric. I had ironed it all nice, and then of course I put it in a hoop and wadded it all up to contain it, and now it's all wrinkly. Okay, so here is my hour's worth of stitching. Ta-da! Yep, ta-da! So that's what we got, which is this tiny little corner. So I'm doing this differently than I've done any other pattern so far. I'm starting from the bottom right and going up in a diagonal. I've done bottom left on Catnap Faye, and obviously top down, which is my preferred. But just because of the way this pattern is, I thought if I started over here, I'm going to get into the cool stuff faster than if I start over here. And I just thought, yeah, I just thought it would be better to start there. So that's what I'm doing. So this is, as I said, Let Sleeping Dragons Lie, which is nothing but a triangle of grass right now. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I am using a new one of my little project bags that I got that is an Amazon canvas book sleeve. And I am liking these a lot. When I get to haul, I have some more to show you that I got. I think I've got all that I'm going to get for now. But they're working really well for me. Okay, so that was my 2 new starts. I'll put this over here. Working on that today. Okay, so now we got to whips. I worked a little bit on kitty litter this week, which is my Dimensions Gold kit that I got for Hanukkah. I'm just doing this on the kit Ada, which is an 18 count. Oops, let me get the needle minders out of the way. And there we go. So I'm working more on, oh, 2 stitches that have yet to be stitched stick out. So yeah, I worked on filling in his little face, and I did a little bit of the back stitching that I could. And some more in this ear, actually both ears, I think. But it's kind of cool to see, you know, just random blocks of color all of a sudden turn into a kitty face. It's kind of nice. I worked on my green lace mandala this week, which is my mid-size chatelaine. So I finished the triangle down here and started one on the side. Let me see if I can hold it with one hand. Okay, there we go. I don't know if you can see in here, there's, this uses a variegated, well, it's a, what's the one that nobody can get? Gloriana. It uses a Gloriana silk that's just like highly variegated and super pretty in there. But I had a lot of fun doing that, actually. So I am just totally really enjoying working on the chatelaine. I also have to say, I said it before, I really like this size because I just feel like it's such a doable, completable project, you know, as opposed to, you know, some chatelaines, when I look at the patterns, they're gorgeous, but they just feel like it's just going to be a forever kind of project. And sometimes that's okay, but I just like that this is mid-size. So I have several other ones. So I think I will always kind of have a chatelaine on the go, but I like the fact that it's not so huge that I don't feel like I can get it done. Okay, I worked on Pinkie and Blue Boy. This is my only project bag that was made for me by somebody else. This was made by Brie Gilly. It's just really pretty, and it's a great size. It's a little bit bigger than like the project bags I've made or whatever, and it fits stuff really nicely. So Pinkie and Blue Boy, as a reminder, they're charted by Artecy, and they're just the classic paintings. Pinkie by Sir Thomas Lawrence, I always have to look, and Blue Boy by Thomas Gainsborough. I honestly don't know that there's any other piece of like classic artwork that I would be interested in doing, but these were kind of an idea that I wanted to stitch them from the very beginning of stitching. I just didn't even know that it was something that I could do. Okay, so this is Pinkie, and I think it's funny because until I get out of the background, Pinkie, her background is blue. Blue Boy's background is like brown. So I haven't gotten into the pink for Pinkie or blue for Blue Boy at all. So this is Pinkie. These threads, so these threads are being worked. These threads are sort of waist threads. So I don't have to turn it over all the time. I'm just pulling them up to the top, and then they'll get kind of stitched in, and then I can either tack them or cut them when I get kind of past that area. And then Blue Boy. And I was able, it's going to get to a point where I'm not going to be able to like finish both sides, like the full diagonal in one sitting or whatever. So it'll get uneven, but my plan is to stitch a diagonal on Pinkie and then a diagonal on Blue Boy, and you know, and so that they're always sort of growing at the same rate. whether it takes several stitching sessions or whatever. This is Blue Boy. For right now, Pinkie is much more confetti heavy and so goes slower. And Blue Boy is using less colors, so it goes a bit faster. But I'm sure that will change. So not too exciting yet, but and this also is on 28 count. This is a Jazlyn. I don't know what the difference is. I mean, I know that the difference between these different names, you know, Jazlyn, Lugana, Jazlyn, they may all be 28 count. It's a different fabric content, fiber content. Jazlyn feels softer, maybe a bit fuzzier than the Luganas that I'm used to. I think Lugana is my favorite. The Jazlyn's fine. It's like I said, it's a little fuzzier, which isn't necessarily the best thing when you're stitching tiny little stitches like that, but it's working fine so far. And I'm going to assume it's going to continue to work fine because I'm not going to like change it out at this point. Okay, I worked on my Laurel Birch cat collage. Which I said before, the flosses that came in this kit are not anywhere near as dark as these. So it has quite a different look, but I still like it. It's got to take the top off. So I worked on this kitty. I just love their weird, like, semi sort of human weird faces. I mean, they still look like cats, but it's just, they're weird. They're weird. There's no other way to say it. And, I mean, since this is Laurel Birch's cat collage, I have a Laurel Birch bag holding my flosses. Okay, and then, last but not least, is, well, let me show you the picture, is Catnap Faye. This is my project that I'm hoping to get a finish on this month. I have 2 more weeks. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it completely finished, but I'm going to try. So you'll notice when I show you, the cat is completed. So I'm kind of like here. So all I have left is this wing area. This on the pattern where you see it's all white is all like one color. It's the sparkly, which I'm using like a Light Effects, which is not my favorite. I decided to try it on this one because, again, this was done very early in my stitching journey, and basically I want to try all the things and didn't necessarily know that some of them are not that great. And Light Effects is one that I do not particularly enjoy, but here we go. So as I said, the cat is done. So we're completely in the wing. This is the very top of the pattern. So all we have left is, you know, this area of wing right there. So last week, I guess from the last time you saw it, I finished a diagonal and then I did a whole nother diagonal. So I think it's looking pretty good. So the Light Effects right here, you can see it in the paw and in the knee. And I don't know if you can see. I did use 2 strands, which kind of, I don't really love the way it looks up close. So I'm not sure when I get to that big chunk of it in the wing if I should just switch to 1 strand, which is going to be different than the rest of the pattern, but I think might look better overall. I'm not sure yet. So I'm having that mental dilemma. I think I have one more diagonal before I kind of hit that area. But yeah, she's looking really good. So we'll see. I mean, I want to get her done, but I also don't want to, I'm not interested in just stitching only on her for like 2 weeks, right? So we'll see how close I can get. And if I don't get her done, then I guess she'll come back out in March. All right, come here. He obviously wants to say hi because he's totally bugging me. Ugh. There we go. There's the kitty. There's the kitty. I don't like these now. Don't. Hey. All right. This is Baggy. So I found out a thing about cats. I know a lot of stitchers are cat people, and I found out a thing because he started doing this weird thing, and I looked it up. And I was talking about it on my New Year's Eve thing. I think it's funny, so I might as well share it with you guys. So cats have a thing called poop euphoria. And so what that means is, because he started doing it recently, like not every time he uses his litter box, but apparently when they use their litter box and things go well, there is a nerve, the vagus nerve, that gets stimulated. And when they get out of the litter box, they're feeling great. And that's why for him, when he gets out of the litter box, sometimes all of a sudden he runs around like a crazy cat. He is playing and jumping and playing with toys and, you know, bouncing off the stools and just, you know, running around for like a good 1 or 2 minutes. And it is actually a normal phenomenon that cats sometimes do, and it's called poop euphoria. So, you know, he has a good session in the litter box. Everything comes out well, and some euphoric nerve is stimulated, and then he wants to play really hard for a couple minutes. So the things you learn about the weird animals that we live with. Why don't you face the camera? Face the camera. Yeah. See, people like to see your pretty eyes. So let me know if you have a cat. Has your cat ever done that? Because I thought like maybe he was like, I don't know. I don't know what I thought. I realized that there was a couple nights where he was, you know, having the zoomies, and I was like, wow. And I realized like after like 2 or 3 nights where he had the zoomies, I'm like, you know, he's having these zoomies right after he gets out of the litter box every time. And so I looked it up, and it's a thing. It's a thing. All right, you want to get down now? Yeah. Okay. Haul. That was all my stitching. By the way, that was my stitching for the week, which I think I did pretty good. I'm proud. Okay, so haul. As I said, I did get some more of the Amazon book sleeves that are a really good price. Now there are book sleeves on Amazon that you can get a single sleeve for like 20 bucks. And to me, that's like, why would you do that? It's the same price as getting something, you know, handmade on Etsy. So I didn't do that, but I've gotten, so I got, how many sets? I got 5 sets. I got a set of 3. 4. No, 3. I got a set of 3. These 3. I showed you these last week. That they're canvas, but they're a little slicker canvas. And I showed you these last week. I got a set of 6 that is more of a canvasy canvas. These feel more sturdy. They all have a pocket in front. These do not have a little Velcro. The other ones do. These were under $4. They turned out to be under $4 a bag. Okay. Then I got a set of 4 fruit ones. These are very slick, like a windbreaker sort of slick, but I just really like the patterns. They have these stupid little things that I'll probably end up cutting off because they bother me. So this one set of 4 was strawberries, watermelon, lemon, and orange. I put orange mood in this because, yeah, makes sense. And it's small because I folded the top into there. And I think I put Gigi in here. No, I put the pandas in here. So, yeah. So those are kind of a windbreaker feel, but I just got these because I just thought the pattern was really pretty. Then I got a set of 3 because they're cats. This set was, now look, this one, that was stitched really bad. So this one is kind of a piece of junk. Well, no, I guess it's not stitched that bad. It was just folded. Okay. I apologize. I apologize to whoever made it. These also feel like the first set. And they do have the Velcro. So they're canvas, but they're kind of a slick canvas. I just got these because of the pattern, because of the cats. And then the last set that I got are the same as the heavy canvas ones. These are nice. This was a set of 6, and they're all sort of this marbly rainbow marble. So I like these the best as far as the way they feel. But I've been using them. They're working really well for me so far. They take up a lot less room than like these, which I like these too, these felt ones, but these are thicker and they take up more room. Now sometimes you have to use them because if you have a pattern, you don't want to smoosh it up. Like this one I have kitty litter in, and I even cut down the plastic. But I'm using the plastic that it came in to hold my chart and stuff to try and keep it nice as long as possible. So I need the bigger bag for that. But for most things, I don't need that big a bag. In fact, I even have Let Sleeping Dragons Lie in one of these. And yeah, it's full, but everything fits. The flosses, the fabric, and everything fits nice in here. Now I only have 2 pages of the pattern in here, 2 or 3 pages as I work on them. But yeah, I mean, it feels really sturdy. Like nothing's gonna happen to my project in here. Okay, so that was that. I got a few grime guards from Carol Token Bags. And I got the ones that were just, you know, overstock or whatever. Because I realized that I take my fabric out of the hoop usually, or out of whatever it's in. But I still was noticing on some of my projects that they're a little dirty on the edge, so I thought it would be a good idea to use that. I got another sticker set. So these will be used with my little golden books. And then, last but certainly not least, I put in a small order with European Cross Stitch for the beads for several of the smaller to mid-sized chatelaines that I have the patterns for. So I already had, and I didn't show you guys this because I figured there was no point, because they're, first of all, they're PDFs. I already had the hard copy of 2 of the workshops, which was the Jessica Stitches and the Algerian Islets, because I really liked those 2. This was before I even started doing Chatelaines. When I just started thinking about it, I got them off of eBay, and I got the hard copy. And then after I started doing the Chatelaines and listening to the advice of friends who do them, I realized that PDF, even though I like paper charts, but PDF for Chatelaines is the way to go, even for somebody like me that likes paper charts. They're just, the paper charts are just too hard to read. And I like to blow it up. Even if you like blow up the paper chart, like on a, you know, on a Xerox machine or something, like blowing up at work, it just gets blurry. They don't get easier to see. So the PDFs for me were the way to go. And I have these 2 hard copy charts of the Jessica Stitches and the Algerian Islets. And I debated about whether or not I should get them in PDF form. And on the Chatelaine website, they do have them in PDF, and they actually have a bundle of all 4 of the workshops that was like 20% off. So I thought about it because obviously there's 2 of the 4 that I really like. And then the other 2, there's one that is okay, and then one that I wasn't that crazy about. And I looked at them again, and I realized that the one that I didn't really like that much, I didn't like because I didn't really like the colors. And I thought, well, I can change colors and I can make it whatever color I want. I feel comfortable enough with my skills, you know, and especially I can use the same fibers and just change the colors. In other words, if stitch A is done with a silk, I can pick a silk, you know, and then stitch B is done with, you know, who knows, a pearl. You know, I can pick the pearl and the silk and the DMCs that go together, and in a color scheme that I like better, if that makes sense. So I got those charts. And then I found a couple others that were in the sort of small mid size section that I really liked. They had, there was a set of 4 filigree charts. There was a spring, summer, fall, and winter, and I looked at those and I didn't like the fall and winter. I really didn't, but the spring and summer I really liked, because the spring and summer have more flowers on them, and they just spoke to me. And again, they were smaller charts, so they're less expensive charts. And so I went ahead and got the PDFs for them. And then I thought about the supplies, and again, I didn't want to spend the money to kit up the flosses, especially because I have no idea when I'm going to start these. And it just seemed like, not that it would be a waste of money, but it would just be an unneeded expense when I can kit it up from stash. I do have a lot of stash at this point. I have even a lot of silk stash and stuff like that. And I feel like I could kit them up myself. Like, even to look the same, I can kit it up with similar things. But the thing that I didn't want to have to kit up is the beads, because actually I think ordering the bead pack from European Cross Stitch is actually more cost effective than trying to source the beads yourself, because you don't have to buy entire packages when you only need a few beads. They split them up for you and charge you accordingly. And the bead packs weren't that expensive. And the other thing is that everybody's talking about how Mill Hill is like, how certain beads are getting discontinued and stuff like that. I figured, you know what, I'll go ahead and get the beads. They were not expensive, you know, they were not that big of sets. This was like the biggest one. Filigree Summer. And see, you don't have to get like a whole big container of beads when you only need a few. And these are all pretty small beads. They're tiny. This was for workshop number 3. This is workshop number 2. So I already have the beads for the 2 that I had gotten previously, but not the other ones. And then this is Filigree Spring. So yeah, So I went ahead and get those bead packs. So I feel like even if I change the colors, this will give me an idea of what I need if I want to change beads, you know, whatever. I just thought that it wouldn't be a bad idea to just have these and then not have to worry about them later. I find sourcing the beads just to be more onerous of a task than sourcing fibers. Okay, so that was all my haul. Plans, I mean, we're halfway through the month of January. I'm enjoying doing the theme thing. So February, starting to look ahead, February is Floral Fantasy is my theme. So I need to go ahead and like pick the projects that are in my whip list that will be worked on in February for that theme. I definitely have a new start here for my Be My Own Valentine style. So I wanted to tell you guys about it now, because if you want to join me on that, which I would love to have you join me, you need time to start thinking about what chart you want to do. So I started this in 2020. And what I did in 2020 is right there. That was by the Blue Flower. And I love that pattern. And so here's how this whole hashtag came about. I went through a divorce in 2016, 2017. That was pretty devastating for me. And I mean, I don't need to get into details and everything. It really knocked me for a loop. I know a lot of people, when they get divorced, it's almost like a celebration, like they're out of a bad marriage, you know, their life can begin again. It wasn't really like that for me. I didn't feel like I was in a bad marriage. My husband went through what I would describe as a midlife crisis, and basically decided he wanted a different type of life, and I didn't fit in. And, you know, he left, he cheated, you know, whatever you wanted. Details aren't important. So I was really suffering the loss of that marriage. The loss of the husband, the person. I don't feel like the person he is now. I haven't spoken to him in years. So he doesn't live in this state anymore. He's married again. He's not the same person as the person I was married to. I mourn the loss of that person. And I mourn the loss of my marriage. And I still do. I realize it's been several years, but, you know, I still feel it. It wasn't what I had expected for my life. And it threw me for a loop in a lot of ways. And it really made me feel not great about myself, because here's somebody that I thought the world of, who rejected me kind of quickly, and it just didn't make any sense to me, all the stuff that happened. So one of the things that had been kind of part of our marriage was that he became and I, to a certain extent, became amateur beekeepers during the time that we were married. We had all these hives in our backyard, and we kind of developed it. It kind of happened by a fluke, but it was something that we were really into for a good year and a half or more. A couple seasons, actually. We did honey harvesting, and, you know, we got this fantastic honey, and we jarred it all up. We gave it to everybody for the holidays. So that was something that was kind of part of our journey together. And when I started stitching, so this was after my divorce and after, you know, everything had settled down, and I started stitching, and one of the big themes in cross stitch, there's bees everywhere, right, in cross stitch, and it was really hard for me for like a good year. Like, I didn't want to look at a bee pattern, nothing that had anything to do with bees, because there was, you know, I was his queen bee, and it was like this cute thing, and it just hurt, right? So what happened basically is, around the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, I saw that pattern by the Blue Flower, and I loved it, and I wanted to stitch it. And it was the first time that I really had wanted to stitch something that had any kind of bee theme on it. And so what came to me is that the knowledge, I guess, that I got through having gone through this divorce and everything is that it's really important to not let what other people say or do affect your self-esteem and affect your self-love so negatively. And so I found that, you know, it's really important for me to keep in mind that I need to value my own self-worth. I need to love myself, in other words. So I created this hashtag for February, and I use BE because it's cutesy and I'm stitching a bee pattern, right? Be my own Valentine, Sal. So that's why I do it. It's a reminder for me, because February can be hard if you don't have anybody romantic in your life. It can be. I had a friend one time. Unfortunately, this guy, he died young. He died at 40. It was very tragic. He used to call it like Black Tuesday. Like if Valentine was on a Tuesday, he called it Black Tuesday. He was very anti-Valentine's because he hadn't had really good luck in relationships. And there's a lot of people that feel that way. And I don't want to feel that way. I want to feel hopeful about love. Whether I have romantic love in my life or not, I want to feel hopeful and good about it. So that's kind of what all of this is. So that's the Be My Own Valentine style. I stitch on any kind of pattern that has a bee on it, bee theme, whatever. And so last year I stitched this. I found two patterns that were kind of similar, these two little patterns, and I thought they were really cute. And I kitted them up together, so they're on the same fabric. And I didn't know if I was going to do them at the same time or if I would split them up in 2 years, and I ended up stitching one last year and I'm going to stitch the other one this year. But as I said, I have one piece of fabric, I cut it in half. I kitted it up together so that the flosses will match. And of course I changed the words. So this originally I think said something like be kind, be patient, or I don't know what it said, but it was three B words. One of them was be kind. And every FlossTube I say be content, be kind, and be crafty at the end. So I changed it to that. So that was my Be My Own Valentine style project last year. And this year I will be doing this bee sampler from Little House Needleworks. So all of the bee stuff and the leaves and stuff will be the same color scheme, except instead of like the blue tone touches, there's pink touches. And it says to be or not to be, and I'm trying to decide what I'm going to change the words to. I think I'm going to change it just to say KarlaBeingCrafty. Or no, I'm just going to change it to hashtag Be My Own Valentine Sal, or Be My Own Valentine. So I have to figure out how I'm going to chart that, but yeah, so I'm going to make that mine. And I have, you know, the same fabric, the same flosses. As I said, last year's patterns used these blues. This year's patterns have pinks instead. And then one thing I did on this pattern, which I really liked, is I kind of, on the wings of the bees, I did a high neck. And I think it looked really pretty. So basically I just have to figure out what I was thinking and put it back into this new pattern that I'm going to do this year. So this is going to be for February. Of course, it fits into the florals. Where's my little thing? It fits into the floral theme. The Floral Fantasy for February, and it also is my February hashtag. When I finish these, eventually when I put together the there's scissors in there. When I put together the stitchy kind of journal, whatever that I have in the back of my head, they'll be in there probably, or I don't know. Maybe I'll actually put them on a frame or in a frame together or something. I don't know. So this will be started next month. And again, if you would like to join me, you know, now that you've heard the story behind the Be My Own Valentine, it just really is a reminder of self-love, that you have to be as important to you as other people are to you. That makes sense? Yeah. Okay. And then along the lines of floral fantasy, I kind of want to start one of my new Riolis kits. If you watched my FlossTube videos, you know I got 8 Riolis kits for myself, one for each night of Hanukkah. I actually got 7. One of them was something that I already had, so I just kind of re-showed you guys. And one of them was the Orange Mood, which I started, which kind of doesn't fit into any theme, but I just started it because it's fun and it's Blackwork and it's something different. But I do want to start one of the floral ones now that I finally finished Sweet William last year. So one of my favorite ones is the Gerbera Daisies, but that one's an anchor one, and I really want to start one that has the wool acrylic thread, because that's what I was working on with Sweet William, and I enjoyed it, and I want something different. So I have 3 here to pick from, and I would like you guys to help me out if you could. Just give me your opinion which one I should stitch. This one is, I think, called Forget-Me-Nots. These are the ones that are Russian, and they don't really have, well, this one has a title. Okay, I lied. This is the only one that doesn't have the title. But this is Forget-Me-Nots. The colors, you know, a lot of blues. This one is 8 inches by 8 inches. So I think this is the smallest one, which means it would get finished quickly. So I am leaning a little bit towards this one. It's a little bit different color scheme than anything else I have right now. I have stuff that has a lot of blue and green, but blue with purple. And this is really blue. Okay. This one is Purple Allium. Very pretty purple, but I have a lot of purple projects. This one kind of reminds me of my mom, just because of the purple and the butterflies. And then this one, which I have to say, I think this one is actually the prettiest, but I maybe will save it off, and I am leaning towards this because it's smaller. So this one is 8 by 8 inches, and this one's like 12 by 16, so it's quite a bit bigger. And this is Wisteria, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, but again, a lot of purple. So help me decide. As I said, I'm leaning towards this. It has the same sort of rustic fabric as the Sweet William, which is another thing, is I think that they would look like nice, like hung together, because I would use that fabric. These might want to change because they're just a big white Aida, which I don't like, but this rustic Aida I don't mind. So help me decide between these 3. And I think that's it. It's it. We're just under an hour. I must have jabbered a lot today. So hopefully this will upload quickly and you guys will be able to see this and be reminded of the Zoom today. If not, then I don't know. Then maybe next February, February 18th, I'll see you on Zoom. But I hope you guys have a great stitchy week. I hope you get a lot of stuff done that you want to get done, and have a good, easy week stitching and working and doing whatever it is that you have to do. Until I see you again, please remember to be content, be kind, and be crafty. This is Karla. Bye-bye.